Alright, what's going on, guys? Trev back again, here to bring you another video. This one's going to be doing another Q&A type of video. We got a new picture of Morgan for The Walking Dead Season 7, and also going to give my thoughts, viewer requested, on who would win between Merle Dixon and Abraham Ford. So first things first, new picture of Morgan from Entertainment Weekly. Not too much to say about the picture. I'll put the link in the description so you guys can check it out yourselves. It's pretty cool. It looks to me like maybe, and I'm wondering, is it from the Kingdom? Because we know that Morgan and Carol were, of course, headed there at the end of season 6, going to season 7. Most likely in the first few episodes they would be there, but no way to say for sure. The background, all you could really see is some kind of dirty window and siding type of deal with wood and everything. So yeah, not too much to say about it. It's decently cool. Excited to see Morgan in the new season. Excited to see what he's going to do and how he's going to change. Did like the recent change with him, killing the guy that was going after Carol there, which was pretty cool. It'd be interesting to see if maybe the two of them could develop some kind of relationship, because I do think that'd be interesting. But we do know that Carol has had this fling going so far with Tobin. The staff looks cool as usual. And yeah, that's really all I got to say about the picture. Check it out yourselves, guys, and let's get into the Q&A. And if you guys missed it, any Game of Thrones fans, I did a video earlier as well, too. It's in the channel. Make sure you check it out. I'll put the link in the description for that as well, too, for details for Season 7 for Game of Thrones. So check that out if you want to see that, anybody who missed it. So, cool. So this was a video suggestion or question for Q&A from Skeeter, Sociation. And he said, hey, Trev, I have a versus battle topic video, or video topic. Who would win, Merle Dixon versus Abraham Ford? So this one is really tough, and you guys can write your comments below on this one, because they both have military experience, with Abraham being a sergeant. And Merle, Merle is really tough and really crafty, and he's killed more. He certainly has more battle experience, I want to say, than Abraham does in terms of zombie apocalypse. Who has to kill who? I used to have the count memorized for Merle, but the amount of survivors Merle has killed is over 20. I think it's like 20. It's either 22 or 28. I forget which, but it's a lot. That's a lot of survivors, not zombies. Zombies would be tons as well too, but that's just survivors that Merle had killed in his lifetime in the zombie apocalypse. So I mean, this is pretty tricky. Of course, he had the blade hand. I still got the figure of him right there, and he's never coming down, man. He's there to stay. Same with the governor. No matter what, as much stuff as I get, those two, I want to keep those two, because, man, I do miss seeing Michael Rooker in The Walking Dead, and I'm happy to hear that he still goes to the conventions and stuff like that. I'm super jealous of any of you guys who have been able to get an autograph from him or meet him in real life. That's really cool, because he's one of the coolest people, I think, of The Walking Dead. I remember the one interview I saw of him where he corrects the guy when the guy says Daryl, and then he stops him. He's not Daryl, Durrell. So awesome, man. So he's really funny, and man, he's tough as nails. So in terms of which character I like better, I'm super biased with this one, because Merle is just, Michael Rooker is so much fun to see. Michael Cudlitz is funny too, and he's got some good lines and stuff, but man, which do I like better? I think I got to go with Merle. I think I like Merle better for sure. In terms of who would win in a face-off, this is so tough. The blade-handed Merle versus Abraham. Who's better? Okay, so let's break it down this way. Who's better with firearms and who's better hand-to-hand? I would probably say hand-to-hand. I might have to give the advantage to Abraham, because he's huge, right? He's like what is Michael Cudlitz? Like 6'2", 6'3", something like that. He's big, and he seems to be really tough. We've seen him kill a lot of zombies. We've seen him, lots of different scenes over the years, and he's pretty tough when it comes to hand-to-hand. If it's a crowbar or whatever, man, he's strong. So hand-to-hand, I probably have to give him. But then again, Merle's got the blade hand, so it's like if Merle's able to get him, oh man, and he's ruthless too. Like if Merle comes at you, there's no hesitation in it. Whereas Abraham, he might be a little hesitant. Like he might be like, just I don't know. It's pretty tricky for sure. With guns, in terms of firearms, I mean, Abraham is what we've seen so far, he seems like a really good shot. I would think that he would be. But then again, we've seen Merle take out, how many of the governor's people and has been in so many run-ins in the zombie apocalypse. So I think, even though, of course, Merle is not a good guy. Merle is, I would say, mostly a bad guy. Daryl kind of brings him back to our side a little bit, but he's still a bad dude. He's a bad guy kind of through and through. It's just how he is. Oh, it's so tough, man. It's like I say, I want to go with Abraham, but then I think Merle is just so tricky that he'd find a way to beat him, whether it be a zombie herd distraction or something like that. He'd find a way to win. So as much as I hate to say it, and I usually like to go with the good guy, and definitely Abraham's the better guy between the two. I think at this time, after we've seen Abraham on the show this long, and for what we know of Merle and for what we saw of him after season 3, I think I got to go with Merle for sure. He is tough, man, really tough. So yeah, I'm going to go with Merle with this one. But you guys can write your comments below, and you can make an argument that Abraham's a better shot, and so he could probably land. He could probably get him first, that kind of deal. Because of course Merle only has the one arm. But I almost feel like he got so good with the blade hand that it's like an advantage rather than a disadvantage for him. Like he turned his weakness of being one-handed into a strength because he got so good with the blade hand. So, but write your comments below, guys. Let me know what you think. I'm going with Merle on this one. I put my money on Merle for sure. Next question is from Marilyn R. And she says, how do you see zombie action in the near future? And this is a good question. She says, after No Way Out, almost anything will seem tame, but they can't keep doing even bigger and bigger herds and killings. I get the feeling next season will be a more people-centered with a bit of zombie killing on the side, so to speak. Have we got to get used to a different kind of show? So, and this is a great, insightful question, because that is something that you'll notice. And I wanted to get into this, but I already talked for 36 minutes in the look back. If you guys missed the special I did on Sunday, we did an extended video. It was really good. I want to thank you guys for all the support. I'm glad you guys liked it. I could talk about Walking Dead for hours. it's all fun for me. But whether or not you guys want to listen to it all, I was like 35 minutes. I don't know. Maybe it's too long. But thanks for the positive feedback, guys, that you guys like that. And some people want to see it for comic books. So I might do that this week or next week for the comic books as well, too, because I love to do that stuff. And look at the series as a whole and break it down as what's the best part. So if you missed that, it's in the channel. Check it out, up to season 7. Best parts of The Walking Dead, look back. But something you'll notice, if you look at the seasons, it switches a lot. Like it switches. Like one season you will have, season 3 is pretty much all about Woodbury versus the prison. There's very little zombie apocalypse. Zombie herds are not taken that seriously. They're not a big deal in that season. It's fight the dead, fear the living. In that season is kind of the slogan of the season, and that's because the show transforms from the first 2 seasons, where it's very being afraid of zombies. Zombies are everywhere, and surviving in the zombie apocalypse is hard. And then you have people turning on each other, Shane and Rick, and what's going on with them. And then the zombie herd comes through at the end. It's like it switches pace in season 3 to the group on group, which is even more dangerous than the zombies. And then after that, it goes back in season 4. Then Too Far Gone comes back, and then back and forth and back and forth. A little bit mixture of both. And you got Terminus and back to people, and then you got later on. So the show really switches back and forth really, really well. And if you look at season 6, it's a very heavy zombie season. You have the herd coming through. You have, a lot of zombies. But then in the second half, we really get into the start of the saviours. And I'm expecting to see the main, again, a lot like season 3, the main thing is going to be, fight the dead, but fear the living. Like Negan and the saviours are far more dangerous than any amount of zombies the characters have faced. And we've seen that, even if you look at, No Way Out versus the Saviors with Dwight out, being a little bit more cunning and using Daryl's anger to his advantage and getting the jump on him. And just, the amount of people that, Negan has with the Saviors, it looks like this season coming up, season 7, is going to be very character-centric. It's going to be very group versus group, larger world, bigger world type deal, with zombies as part of the environment. But they're probably not going to be set. They're not going to be set pieces. They're going to be like environmental pieces. Like if you go here, you're going to run into some zombies, you're going to have this, you're going to have that, you're going to have all this stuff happening. But it's probably going to be more faded into the background, and then maybe eventually they'll bring the zombies to the forefront again. Probably with, of course, with the war, when the war is going on, there's going to be some big herds drawn in by fighting and stuff like that. So they'll be there. It's part of the world. It's part of the environment. But it doesn't seem to me like, for a while anyway, they're going to be at the forefront like they were in No Way Out. It's going to be Survivor on Survivor. So great, insightful question, Marilyn. And yes, you'll notice the show does switch back and forth like that. And I think it's to keep it original and to keep it fresh. They don't want it to feel just all one way all the way through, like it's all about zombies forever. And at the same time, it's not all about people forever. Zombies are still there too, and they are not entirely a manageable threat 100%, as Galen Hurd has said in interviews before. A Friendly Heathen says, is it possible that Joe was somehow connected to the Saviours? They seem way too similar. Could the Claimers have been a group that split from the Saviours and escaped to Atlanta? And, I like the theory. We'd have to have somebody who was involved with the show actually confirm for us if that's true. The obvious answer is you'd say no unless you heard them say yes. But it is interesting, and I mentioned it in the look back video too, of just how similar Joe's group is to the Saviours. They are very, very similar, and they feel like Joe could be like Stephen Ogg's character, like Joe could be a leader of some smaller kind of group, maybe defected and took off. It would fit perfectly, but they're not important enough villains for something like to give that kind of importance to them. I'd say they're probably just a group. Some people think that Joe's group is like a group of guys that were in the prison that Rick was at, and then maybe they escaped, they got away, or something like that. And I like that idea. That's a pretty good theory because they were close proximity to it, and it makes some sense. But yeah, you guys can write your comments below as well too. Any insights you have on Joe's group, because it's been a while now. Sometimes I even forget stuff, that I've heard in interviews and stuff over the years. Princess Rhea says, hey Trev, I have a question for you about The Walking Dead. I just noticed that in season 1, the walkers seem smarter and faster in a way. Like the episode where the little girl, she stops and picks up the teddy bear, and when she turns around, she runs towards Rick. Or when there was a trap inside the store, one of the walkers picked up a stone and used it to break the glass. So you're going way back to season 1 stuff, and they seem smarter. So yeah, we've gone over that for years. Every so often I get that same kind of question. You can look back to some of the older videos I've done, smart walkers. You can type in the search tool and you'll find videos where we discuss that in detail. But it seems to me most likely like a Darabont thing, and then after he was swapped out of the show or he left, they kind of stopped. They did away with any kind of intelligence with regards to the walkers. But I thought it was interesting, and that's something maybe in the future they should look at adding more. Maybe they could explain it to say that freshly turned walkers don't have their brains as disintegrated, or their brains are kind of more tissue. They work better, so they're not as dumb as kind of older walkers that have been around for a while, wandering around and their brain just rotting in the sun and stuff. Maybe you could say freshly turned walkers are smarter, and so you could explain it in a way like that too. So I'd like to see them, and if they switch back to the more zombie focus, which they probably won't for a while after No Way Out, I'd like to see something like that again, because I do like that. And you can watch some of the George A. Romero movies like Land of the Dead, where there's some feature zombies. Like you have like the Butcher, where he's a zombie where he walks around with a butcher knife and he like cleaves in the fence and he uses it to attack people and stuff. Pretty cool. Or you have another zombie that I think he worked as a mechanic, and he like lights a car on fire. So it's an interesting idea. Some has been explored there. So if you want to see that, you can watch those movies. Land of the Dead is a great one for that, and kind of get a feel for that. It's cool. It's fun. They use fireworks to distract them and stuff like that. It's a good zombie movie for sure. I've reviewed quite a few of the zombie movies out there. There's still a few I could review this summer, actually. It's not a bad idea, but we've got Fear coming back pretty soon anyway. It won't be that long until it's back. And then the last one will be from Steven Rivera, and he says, do you think that the actor Chandler Riggs, Carl, has the potential to perform his comic book character in the upcoming events with Negan and other events? Do you think he can pull it off? So do you think he can pull off the acting portion of it? So I do think for a kid, he's definitely a great actor, I would have to say, with all the different scenes he's done and everything. I never felt like Chandler Riggs' acting was bad, I don't think. I'm trying to think back. Like, was there any parts in the series where Chandler Riggs' performance took me out of the series where I felt like, oh, he's just acting, it's so fake or something? No, but I do think he's a little bit more reserved than he kind of needs to be. Like, I feel like at this part of the series and in the next few seasons, he really needs to kind of embrace that darker side of the character. And I feel like he has to become more hardened and a little bit crazier, a little bit nuttier, and hopefully we'll see some of that. But definitely the television series version of Carl is tame compared to the comic book series version. The comic book series version is way darker, way more badass, just a lot darker overall. So we need to see that stuff coming from Carl. So I hope we do, if they're going to be equivalent to each other at some point. Right now and at this current time in the story, definitely the TV series version of Carl, for me, is not nearly as badass as the comic book series version. Sometimes that's how it works out when they change a lot of things in the story, like with Lizzie and Mika and Carol versus what happens in the comics with Carl, and all kinds of other stuff too, and some stuff that's coming up. So it should be really cool to see. But some of it looks like maybe already they're changing. So we'll see how it goes. But yeah, that'll be it for today's Q&A, guys. We'll keep it a little bit short compared to the usual. We're going too long. But yeah, if you guys liked the look back video, let me know if you want to see one for the comic book series, and I'll do it this week. Probably my day off is Thursday, so I'll probably do it Thursday. Because I have to go through all the comics and get everything ready and then do that, because that would take a while to go through all the comics again. There's so many at this point, it's crazy. But I have to do it because it's been a bit since I've read some of the earlier trades, right? So at least I think like a year or 2 years or something. That'll be it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think about the key question, Merle versus Abraham, who you got, who you like for that one. And if you like the video, as usual, guys, please don't forget to thumb it up. Please share, favorite. And if you're new and you want to subscribe, bottom left, you can go ahead and subscribe. That's it for this one. See you guys again, probably tomorrow for another. As always, this is Trev, and I'm saying peace. Later, guys. See ya.
You better subscribe.